you're going to need your Liquitex varnish. I use the standard gloss varnish. There's also a high gloss formula, but I find this is a little bit too watery. And what tends to happen is, because it dries so fast, I don't know if that's because of the water content or alcohol content or whatever it is, but it dries quicker, and it also leaves little fine particles, you know, just the tiniest little particles in the solution where it's already dried varnish inside of the new varnish, and that will get deposited on your plates. So I generally don't recommend this one. That's not to say you couldn't get really good at it. It does provide a slightly higher varnish, higher gloss, but I think the standard gloss varnish works great. So this is a sample of high gloss versus the standard gloss. This is on a sheet of trophy aluminum, and I mean, it's really, really difficult to tell that there's much of a difference. I will say, you know, the high gloss does have more of a sheen. It's the one on the left, but it's pretty negligible. The other effect I see more on the left is swirling. So again, it's kind of a thinner mixture, and it'll tend to have more swirl marks, and you might get those deposits of dried acrylic in it. And you're also going to want some heavy latex gloves. You know, just kind that you'd see at a medical supply, or you know, these kind I think are used a lot in automotive. I just reuse them generally, unless they get too bad. If there's actual varnish flaking off the glove, then I'll replace them, but I usually just reuse them. This will keep your fingers from sticking together and sticking to the plates. You're going to want some of this multi-purpose duster, any brand really, just a duster so you can get your plates free of any debris, otherwise it'll get stuck in the varnish. Paper towels, for sure. And these, you're going to want to tear off you know, a square of it, and this is what you'll use to kind of dab off the excess varnish. It's nice to have a cardboard underneath so that that'll kind of absorb some varnish as well, so it won't get you know, onto your work surface. I cut these little squares just out of scrap cardboard, and these I use to place the tintype. So for example, here's one of the tintypes I'm going to varnish. Once you varnish the tintype, you can place it on top of that little cardboard cutout, and so it'll keep it off of the surface just slightly, so that you're not going to get your tintype glued down to the cardboard or whatever surface you're working on. So this is another handy item. I used this for the first time when I was out shooting on location, and it's with Anton Orlov, if you know him and his work. He took me out, let me use his portable darkroom, and having one of these little plastic storage containers, you know, you can pick these up at Walmart, Michael's, wherever. Take some tape with you, and when you've dried your plate, you can just stick it down in the storage container, and then it'll stay safe there until you get ready to varnish. And then when you're varnishing, the same idea, you instead of the tape, what I would do is, once I get the varnish on, place one of my little cardboard mats down, and then place the plate on top of that. Get one of my little cups here, place it inside to allow some airflow. In this case, I'll take 2 cups. So I've just got some clearance. So no dust is going to settle in here, but it's going to be enough airflow for that varnish to dry. Okay, so start out with our gloves. Let's do this plate. This is of a mansion in Sherman Heights, San Diego. First thing you want to do is take your duster and hit it. You don't have any large flecks of dust on there or anything that might have settled. Then I hold it just like in a waiter position. Take your varnish. Oh, before we get there, you want to lay down a square of your paper towel. Alright. I pour just straight out of the bottle. A nice decent amount, maybe even a little more than what you would put on with collodion. And I just try to hit every corner quickly so I don't leave any kind of ridges in that circle. So I just want quick coverage. And then once I have that, I hit each corner for 10 seconds. So I'm going to start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I just have a little cup where I'm pouring my excess varnish in. Maybe I'll reuse that, but I don't ever use this on my best plates. This is only just for the runoff, and then maybe I'll use it on kind of the secondhand plates or ones that I still want to keep, but I'm not going to be displaying as often. And then you can decide which corner you want to pour off. Sometimes you don't get quite all the way to the corner, so, on one of them, so sometimes I'll just pour off on that edge. So we're going to pour off on the far edge. And I don't worry too much about wasting a little bit of varnish. At this point, rather than risk dropping the plate, I'll just grab it and give it that final little drip, and then just put it right onto my paper towel to blot off. I also bring it up to just beyond vertical as I'm doing this, because I don't want a lot of dust to land on it. I don't want any dust to land on it if I can avoid it. So just kind of step it along. You can see there's, I don't know if you can see in the video, but there's quite a fat bead on this edge. It's probably because it's not actually touching. So sometimes I'll just kind of wick it in an effort to try to pick up that bead while it's still wet. You can also run that bead back along the edge to even it out. Grab a little mat, a little piece of cardboard, lift up the container, cardboard down, and lay your plate in, drop the lid, let it rest. Come back in 30 minutes to an hour, try to keep it on a level surface. That bead will flow back a little bit, but it shouldn't create too much of a problem if you've wicked it off really well. If you keep your excess covered, you can use it on other plates, kind of set it aside. It won't dry out too fast. Yeah, and move on to the next one.